Welcome back to part 2 of our following Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Life. Today, we're going to be going through rules 4 to 6. Hope you guys enjoy.
Next step.
Moving on. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Right.
You want to hold this one?
Yeah. So the idea of this is that no one's on an equal playing field. Mm-hmm. We all start life with our own advantages, our own disadvantages. Some people are smarter than other people. Some people have, richer parents, better schooling. They're taller, they're faster, they're better at sports, whatever. So because you are truly not equal to any other human on earth, you can't compare yourself to them. Mm-hmm. It's an unfair assessment. You're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
So who can you compare yourself to? Because you should compare yourself to somebody, right?
Yesterday's you.
Yesterday's you is the only accurate person that you can compare yourself to. Why? Because you have your own advantages and disadvantages.
I think the biggest one is, like we said earlier, every little thing about yourself, right? All the negatives, all the positive, everything. So you know who you were yesterday. I mean, maybe you have to do some introspection where you might not. You think about who you were yesterday. You can think about who you are today. You can think about who you were last week. You know all these little spots. It's like, did I make any steps forward from where I was yesterday? Mm-hmm. You can, objectively quantify your progress forward through looking back at yourself. You can't do it when you're looking at someone else. Because maybe some person's running forward and backwards and forwards and backwards, where you're just slowly making this progress forward, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, oh no, I'm so far behind this person. And then other times it's like, wait, I'm doing so good. But you don't know what they've been up to.
Dude, you're comparing yourself. What if they have a 5-year head start on you? Right? Like, for example, let's say I'm comparing myself to
Jordan Peterson,
he's got years on me, bud. Right? Like, can I write a book as good as him right now? Probably not. It would be very difficult for me to do so. Mm-hmm. Is that a fair evaluation, though? Like, should I beat myself up over it? Probably not. Right? And the other interesting thing that Jordan Peterson talks about with comparing yourself to yourself is that you don't need to make leaps and bounds of improvement immediately. Mm-hmm. Right? So he said, even if you improve by just 1%, right, in just the smallest fashion, and you do that consistently, and you maybe just add one small thing, then what it does is it creates this positive feedback loop.
Well, there's that, and there's also the exponential growth of that. Because think about that. What is 1%? I mean, 1% of 100 is 1. 1% of 100, 1% of 100, whatever it is, right? Slowly, that 1% per day, or whatever it is just more and more and more and more.
Yeah. So
then over the long run, you'll be making you could be making 20 steps or whatever quantity it is per day, even though that's just 1%. Mm-hmm. So doing that 1%, even though it might look like a little now, think about where that'll be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, right?
There is we touched feet. There is a name for that, actually. It's called the Pareto distribution.
Yeah, I know. I learned that in economics.
Right. So what is the Pareto distribution?
Well, it's basically, I know it through like logarithmic or exponential functions.
Yeah.
Where it's something tied to the something. So it's the two exponents together must equal 1, right? And at least what I've learned. It might be, you can explain yours, but in economics, they equal 1.
I might be wrong, but I think it's like for every 1 that you increase on the y-axis, the x-axis goes 1 over x squared.
Maybe. Mine was with fractions, where it was something because of percentages, but decimals.
But regardless, it's effectively an exponential distribution, right? And so Jordan Peterson actually refers to it a lot because, for example, we think about things as normal curves, right? with
I'm trying to see it here.
most, what is a Pareto distribution? Let's see.
The Pareto distribution, named after the Italian civil engineer economics, is a power law probability distribution that is used in description of social. It doesn't actually say what it is. But yeah, the expected value of the function is based on the parameter. If alpha is less than or equal to 1, then the expected value of the Pareto function is, or infinity. If it is greater than 1, then it is given, math. So math.
Yeah.
But it is like this.
It's like an exponential
distribution. Where it's like, as things get bigger, they get more unequal, right?
Yes, kind of. I think that's actually a decent way to explain it.
Well, that's how I think about it in economics. Where as I think the example he used was number of people, right? So say you have 10% of people are doing 50% of the work, right? I think it's a good way to look at it. 10% of people doing 50% of the work in a company that's 10. That's one person doing 50% of the work. Oh no, it's to the square root. What the fuck? I think it's to the square root of it. It's almost square roots. I'm trying to remember what it was. But yeah, like ultimately, how did we get on Pareto distributions?
Because there's a big picture to this. So Jordan Peterson talks about Pareto distributions because Pareto distributions are actually a big thing in psychology. Why? We think about everything with humans as normally distributed, right? For example, our personality traits normally distributed, height normally distributed, all this stuff normally distributed, right?
Yeah.
But some things are not.
Okay, pause. I realized I was thinking the econ thing I'm thinking of was a special version of a Pareto distribution where the bounds are 1.
Okay.
Anyways, keep going. I just thought I am not dumb. I was thinking about it in a special case.
Okay. But he talks about efficient people. So efficient people aren't normally distributed, right? Mm-hmm. How it is that as you get to the people who are the most efficient, their efficiency is so off the charts. They're exponentially more efficient, right? When they change slight things like their efficiencies. So we're talking about these people are like Elon Musk, right? People are always like, how is Elon Musk this efficient? It's because it's unimaginable how efficient he is from where we are right now, right? Because of that exponential growth in efficiency.
Yeah.
And so the reason that he says is the positive feedback loops, the improving yourself one tip at a time, one step at a time, causes this positive feedback loop and that exponential growth. In no time, you'll be like Elon Musk.
In time, you'll be like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Give it 2 years. Listen, give it 2 years, you'll be a billionaire.
I'll hold you to that.
It's the Blurred Science guarantee.
If not, I expect you to give me $1 billion.
It's no problem because in 2 years, I'm going to be a billionaire.
I'll take all your money then. The next one is number 5. Wow, we've been going at this a while. Number 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Kind of not, what's the word? Not necessarily about us now.
Yeah.
But I think, I actually don't know how to explain this one.
Like, so don't do anything that makes you dislike your children. If you give in to what your children want you to do, then there's going to be a part of you that hates them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse in raising a child than being resentful towards the child, because then you're not making the decisions that are the best for that child. So the idea is that sacrifice the short-term satisfaction of the child so that you can keep your long-term love of them.
Because honestly, everyone knows kids will do things that their parents hate, right? Usually it's the parents who turn the blind eye to that have the most crazy kids.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And it'll be the ones who are fairly strict. Well, I think there's obviously a balance. Fair strictness on their kids. who will have all the good expectations. They'll be hardworking, and their parents will usually tend to like them because they have molded them into the person they want them to be, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing is the way that a parent, I think, raises a child from non-parents. Obviously, we're no clue here. I think it looks like if you raise them and you give the guidelines and you basically try to mold them, usually they'll turn out into the mold. It's not like you put them in this square mold and they come out a hexagon.
Well, that's the beauty of children, is that a child is completely, it's like the new piece of paper, right? Mm-hmm. You can do exactly whatever you want in creating and molding that child.
Yeah.
It's with innocence, and with innocence you gain potential. And with maturity you lose potential. What? But when you lose the potential, you gain something more.
And what is that?
Meaning.
Word.
That's another idea from Jordan Peterson.
And I
Phenomenal electron Peter Pan.
We'll probably have to end it at the halfway mark with this one. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. I look at this from more of a figurative perspective. You can also look at it from a literal perspective. Or like if you can't put your house clean, tidy, in good shape, what spot are you in to be criticizing the other people, right? If you don't have things together, then how can you be criticizing others for not doing the same thing, or the world, right? I think about it more when I read that first or heard about it. I thought of it more the mental thing. If you're not mentally stable, if you're not mentally happy, if you're not mentally have all your thoughts in order, how are you supposed to be able to judge people for same things, right? Like I think that goes for like relationships, friendships, family, sports, whatever you're doing, school. You can't put your all into it unless you've got your house in order, or your brain, I guess, right? You're not personally 100% ready, good to go, whatever it is, right? So how can you be judging other people for the same things if you're not in... I guess, how can you judge people for not being there if you're not there yourself?
And
I think because if you're doing that, then you're just a hypocrite, right?
Yeah. And another interesting example that I was thinking about when I hear this key is that a lot of the times we say that if I get more of it, I will be responsible. So, for example, if I get more money...
I knew you were going to go to money.
If I get more money... I'm going to invest, I'm going to save, I'm going to be amazing. Or this is the good one. If I get more money, I'm going to donate to charity more. How many people say that? Right? If I get more money, I'm going to be more charitable. If I had $100 million, I'm going to give away 500 of 50 million of those. I'm going to give away half of it to charity. Well, right now you're not giving away half of your money. So what makes you think when you have 100 million, you're going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Or people say, like, oh, the government's so corrupt. Oh, how can Notley take those flight vacation? Oh, wait, was it Notley? No, it was Redford. A politician.
Justin Trudeau.
Oh, that's true. He did that too. Like, okay, a politician takes... taxpayer money to pay for their own personal things, or they use the government's, the people's money for their own personal gain. Well, how many times when we're at our own work do we use the company's stuff for our own personal gain? So on a small scale, we are doing it. What makes us think that on the big scale we're going to be any different? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. And so I always think about that when I hear this rule where it's like, set your own house in order, right? Make sure that on the small scale, your affairs are great. Mm-hmm. That everything is in line. You're making sure that you're doing everything good as you possibly can so that when the big scale stuff comes around, you'll be able to do that properly as well.
Yeah, you'll be able to do it well. You'll be able to do it to your true expectations, not necessarily your imagination.
Yeah. Stuff though. Stuff I'm not gonna lie. You just gotta
get it together.
Yeah.
You gotta hold true to your virtues, your values, and just stay strong to them no matter what, right?
Yeah. And you know,
I think it's just holding yourself to the same standards that you hold someone else.
Yeah.
Is that another one of the ones? Maybe it's not. But like, I think that's basically what it comes down to, right? Is how can you hold these people up to a higher standard if you don't hold yourself up to that personally? You can't.
And that's really what hypocrisy is, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's what you always said. It's like, you know, lead by example. Or what's the do as I do, not as I.
Because everyone likes to do as I say. Everyone loves to say, "Do as I say, not as I do."
Yeah, and you were like, "That's the dumbest thing ever."
Because you do as you do, not as I say. Wait. Well, no. If you do as I do, not as I don't. Well, no. It's basically just do as I do.
Yeah.
So whatever I do, you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because actions speak louder than words.
Bingo.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the kicker right there.
Exactly.
Follow your actions, because it's hard to lie about your actions. You can put a cover up on what you're saying, right? But if the way you do things, you can't really hide from that, I think. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode of Blurred Summits. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of going through Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Stay tuned for part 3 coming out next Wednesday, where we'll continue going through his 12 rules. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and share our content with someone you think might find it interesting. Please listen on YouTube, or I guess watch on YouTube, and listen on all podcast platforms. Thanks.